Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the 6 Caillou playing with Passphrases Codewars algorithm. Alright, so we don't really need all this stuff. Basically we're going to start here. It says choose a text in capital letters. So we're going to get a string of all capital letters, including or not. So it may include digits and it may include non-alphabetic characters, so special characters. We're also going to get a number, n, so the string is going to be s, the number is going to be n, and that number is going to tell us how we shift each letter. So basically we're going to return a new string where each letter is transformed by the number with the circular shift. So what does that mean? So if we have the letter A and the number's n, our new letter is going to be B. If the number is 2 and we have an A, that the new letter is going to be C, so on and so forth. This circular shift is referring to kind of an edge case. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use character codes. So that being said, if you have like the letter Z and your number is 1, we want it to be an A. Well, using your character code, if you increment the character code by 1, it's not going to be A. It's going to be, I believe, a square bracket, which is not what we want. And I'll show you how to do that once we get to the code. And then we're going to place each digit by its complement to 9. It's basically saying 9 minus whatever the digit is. So, if you look at this example down here, 9 minus 2 is going to be a 7. 9 minus 0 is still going to be 9. 9 minus 1 is going to be 8. So on and so forth, right? We're going to keep such as non-alphabetic and non-digit characters. So basically anything that's not a number or a letter, we're just going to, put the exact same thing in the string. You see these spaces are being put in the exact same position. They probably should have put this step as number 2, but back to the letters, we're going to downcase each letter in an odd position and upcase each letter in even position. So if the index is in an odd number, we're going to change that letter to a lowercase. The string's going to come in as all uppercase letters, so you really need to worry about this. And reminder, the first character is in position 0, right? Then finally we're going to reverse the whole result. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this test here, and I like to solve my algorithms in CodePen so I can kind of see the code working as I go along. Find that works best for me, and I learn the most when I do it this way. So our variable s is going to be that string, and then our variable n is going to be that number. So then we're going to create a function. We'll just call it func over here, and then I always like to go ahead and return stuff and console log stuff right away. Easier to catch errors this way, to not get too far into it. And then console log func, and then we should be getting the string. Beautiful. Alright, so how we're going to do this is we're going to loop through the string. We're going to convert every character following all these rules, and then we're going to push it into an array that I'm going to call result. So here's our empty array, and I'm going to return result so we can kind of see it's all working as we go through. Then we're going to create a for loop. Let I equals 0. If I is less than s dot length, we're going to increment it. Oops. I++. And before we go any further, we're going to console log each character again, so to make sure I did not make any errors. So we should have each character. There it is, very good. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a variable that will allow us to account for that edge case I was talking about with the character code and the later letters. So we're going to create a variable called character code, and we're going to say s.charCode at I. So now this variable is going to be the character code for every character in the string. So now if we console log this, you'll see a bunch of numbers. Whoop. If I could spell, that would help. Okay, now we should see a bunch of numbers. Beautiful. Okay, back to that idea about, well, and then of course, like I said, we need to increment this character code by the number n. So we're going to increment it by 2. And then we're going to get all these numbers. Now, let's talk about edge case before we start pushing this stuff into the result. So, why here, right? Originally his character code was 89. We incremented it by n, which is 2. That gives us 91. Well, what we want is Y, the next letter is Z, and then we want one more next letter, which would be the start of the alphabet, which is A. Unfortunately, the character code for A is not 91. That's going to be some sort of special character. I believe it's like a start of a square brackets. So what we need to say is if char code is greater than 90, which is a capital Z, we're going to reassign character code, or char code I should say, to char code minus 26, because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, right? So now this, what was 91 is now 65, which is the character code for a capital A, which is what we want. And you can take my word for that, and we'll see that in a second. All right, so now we're going to do a giant if-else-if statement. Not a giant one, but one that has, 4 cases to it. So we're going to use a regex. It's going to target all the capital letters. We're going to use the test method on it. And inside there, we put in that particular element, so string at position I. And we're also going to take care of another case at the same time here. So right off the bat, we're going to jump to number 4 here and downcase each letter in an odd position, right? So we need to target, we're going to need to say and index modulus 2 does not equal 0. So basically what this is saying here is if the index divided by 2 does not have a remainder of 0, well then it's an odd number, right? So that's how you get odd numbers in JavaScript. Alright, so if that's what we're coming across, what we need to do is we need to result.push. So we're pushing into that array result. We want a string, and then we're going to say from char code. So here's where we're going to put in our character code, which we defined up here, and this is going to get the value held in that character code, right? There you go. So now all the elements of the odd indices have now all been incremented by 2. we've handled the edge case, and we've pushed into result. The final thing we need to do here is, like we were saying earlier, these all need to be lowercase. So we use the 2 lowercase, and there you go. Alright, next thing we want to do is handle the rest of the letters. We're going to say else if. We're going to take just this bit of code here, because now we don't have to worry about the index. And, because they're already capital. And we're going to take all of this minus the 2 lowercase. Now we should have all the letters. We should, but we don't, because I forgot to put that there. And there you go. There's all the correct letters in the correct case. And then, of course, we need the numbers, so we're going to say else if. Now we're going to use this regex here to find all numbers from 0 to 9. And then we test the element. And if so, that's saying if it's a number, we simply push results dot push, and you would do 9 minus, now we're going to have to use the number keyword because right now it's a string, and then we just add in the element. Sorry. And there we go. Now we should have our numbers. No, I screwed something up there. Yep. That needs to be a square bracket. This is why I like using CodePen. And then we also are missing, come on. Here we go. Now we should have the numbers. Where are they? They're there. Beautiful. Now you notice that they're actually numbers and not strings. This is not necessary because we're going to join it later, but just so we know that it's correct, we're going to use the number keyword. We're going to use the string keyword again. Now all our numbers should be strings, and yes they are. Very good. Finally, we're going to say else, because we have all the special characters, white space, etc. I'm going to say result.push, and this will just get everything else. String, add I, and we don't need to do anything to those. Now we have the spaces we need. Yep, we got spaces we need because that's all there is in there. All right, good. Let's get rid of this. It's kind of getting on my nerves. Makes it harder to see. Cool. And then the final thing we need to do is we need to reverse it. Reverse it. Everything's reversed. Dot join. Join it. Now we got a string. Beautiful. All right. So let's go back to Codewars and let's make sure this is working for everything. So we're going to test an attempt. Beautiful. Look at that. Works. All right. The last thing I want to do, I always try to, once I get it working, I just try to refactor my code any way I can to make it more efficient, read better, faster, whatever. You know, just make the code a little bit better. So one thing that we can do here, because each one of these if, else if, and else statements is only performing one action, we can go ahead and use a ternary operator, which is basically the same thing as an if, else statement. You know, it does have its faults, but it looks better and takes less code. So in this case, we can use it. So I'm going to comment this out, and then we're going to handle that with a ternary operator instead. So to do the ternary operator, we just need to take each condition. So here's the first one, and then this is the action that we want to perform when this condition is met, so that's represented by this question mark. Okay. And that's basically doing the same thing as this if statement. Now, it's still going to show an error because ternary operators require at least an if and an else, right? So there's our else. Okay. And just so we can see it working, I'm going to go ahead and grab the last else here so that we won't have any errors, and then we'll kind of fill it out from there. And that should be working. Why is it not working? Unexpected end of input. One second here. Now I'm confused. All right, let's get rid of that for a second. We're just going to move forward, and hopefully my mistake will reveal itself as we go along here. This may not be the smartest thing, but oops. So we're going to go ahead and add. So now we want to add this if else. God. Oh yeah, that's right. Cool. And then we get our question mark, and that is going to perform that action. Oops. And then we need the numbers, which is here. Oop. Yep, no, that's right. And then we want to add this. Sorry, I think maybe I'm seeing it. No, I didn't. Okay, whatever. Question mark V. Finally, we just need this last one. Copy. Oh, I know what I did. I know why this isn't working. This is why you shouldn't do what I just did, because I may not have spotted this. I accidentally commented out the extra curly bracket here. That is the curly bracket for the for loop. That's why that messed up. I think, right? All right, yeah, cool. All right. So now, let's test this out, make sure this works. Go back to Codewars, and we're going to get rid of this if-else statement. Add that in there. I made sure not to lose that curly bracket like I did over there. And let's test it. Great. works great. Fantastic. And you can see how this just looks a lot cleaner and nicer, and obviously takes up, less lines of code. Thank you for watching this video today. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. Oh, I forgot to submit. There we go. All set. Everybody enjoy your day. Take care.